Welcome to Season 1, Episode 9 of my career mode, where I go from obscurity to hopefully Champions League glory along my career. Today we are with Solihull Moors in the final episode of Season 1, and we are away at AFC Fylde and at home to Eastleigh. Our form since you were last with us has been hit and miss. You were with us last time, if I go to the right screen, for the games against Torquay and FC Halifax. After that we had two very tight losses, 3-2 on both accounts, where we were ahead in both games, and loss probably wasn't fair in both of them. We would expect to get something from those two games. We then got an excellent 1-0 victory against Solihull and a 2-2 draw against Guiseley, in which we were again winning during the game. So it means in the last two games of the season we are in this situation in the table. We're in 17th place. We're 5 points ahead of Dover, which means a win in either of our games should be enough will be enough to keep us in the division for another year in the Valorama National League. A draw probably enough to get there. In fact, actually, 2 losses is probably enough, but we've got to rely then on results going our way for Dover. The team I've picked for today's game is O'Brien in goal, Leahy, Keller, Flanagan and Wakefield in the back four, Michael, Carvel, Green and Phillips in the midfield, and Afalan and Babos. We're going to switch those two around. Let's get into the game. We're still playing counter, we're still playing fluid. I have now dropped the play narrower instruction because we're playing with wingers. Normally playing narrower does allow your wingers perhaps a little bit more space, but generally when you're playing 3 midfielders, because that sucks their wide players in to defend. So I've gone a bit wider now because I want the ball to go wider and ask them to run at defenders a bit more. It got us a win against Hartlepool, and it got us a draw against Guiseley. So let's hopefully see if we can win again today here at Fylde and settle this season once and for all. We've got a penalty early on, 12 minutes in, a penalty. This could be the goal that keeps us in the division and allows us to go into the summer with excellent prospects. And Babos puts it away. His 26th goal of the season. Those two up front have been wonderful. I probably will be looking to bring Babos back in on loan, as long as his parent club are happy with that, because he's been excellent. 26 goals is an excellent return for a team so low in the division. And him and Afalan have been excellent. What I'm really going to be doing next year, we've got a lot of players leaving. A lot of players who are not happy. I mean, we've got a big squad. A lot of players aren't happy with the amount of first-team football they've got, which is understandable. They're going to be going, and we're going to be reinvesting that money in young, powerful players who can try and win that midfield battle that I think we've been struggling to win. And wingers. Oh, but Babos is through again. A deep ball, and Babos, good save from Ryan Taylor. And the ball goes out for a corner. But again, we're going to try and reinvest that. The other thing I'm going to try and do is bring out a lot more players on loan. There were a couple here when I came in, which restricted how many I could do. There was obviously the incident, the difficulty with Tilton, that he was only here for 3 months when we really would have liked him for the season. But Michael's done well since we brought him in. It's also worth noting that Eastleigh, our final game of the season, are top of the table. So that's a hard way to end the season. So we'd like to get it done today. Let's get the win or the point we need today. Focus on. Then we can turn the focus to the season. We can put anybody out against Eastleigh. It's not a real concern, provided as long as we get the job done today. If we don't, then going against Eastleigh in the final game of the season, when they're not secured, when they haven't secured the league title, and remember, there's only one automatic promotion in place in this league, so they're going to need to win. And Babos hits the post from point-blank range. That would have, you feel, secured the division for another season, but just before half-time, Batty crosses, it's cleared, it's going to be given back out. No, Hardy whips it in, and a penalty. They've given them a penalty for very little. I mean, it's a cross, there's going to be pushing in the box. Muldoon, O'Brien still has never saved a penalty. He has now! O'Brien has saved a penalty, and he's saved his biggest save for such a crucial point in the season. That's superb. We go into the second half, 1-0 up, knowing we've had a chance to go 2-0 up. We've saved a penalty. This is going to be our best opportunity now. Oh, that's so harsh. Looked a little bit offside from where I was. But this is definitely our best opportunity to get that point we need and go on and win the title go on and secure Vanarama National League football for next season. I mean, we were expected to finish bottom this year. For anybody who hasn't seen the earlier episodes, we were expected to finish bottom. And so just to stay in this division is a superb achievement. As a manager, this is the first venture into management. As a manager, being given a team in this league right from the off is unusual. So I said that right from the beginning. This was a team I would have loved to have managed of the first choices I had. The other option was Llandudno in Welsh Premier League. And we've stayed in this division, or we look like we're going to be staying in this division. We couldn't really ask for any more. But it's not finished yet. There is still time to play. Hardy is not offside. He's been the danger man, and that is 2-1. We're losing, and all the joy and excitement at the start of the episode is ebbing out of the players, ebbing out of me as manager, and it's being replaced with apprehension. Does anybody know how Dover are doing? Because that's crucial. It's 0-0 at Dover against Gateshead. That would be enough to secure us in this division for another season. As long as there are no goals. As long as Dover does not get a goal, I'm pretty sure mathematically we are safe. Boreham Wood have now become the relegated side. Or they've come up. I think they must be winning, but it's Dover the ones we're watching, because a win would bring them within striking distance going into the last game of the season, and Muldoon had a good opportunity there to get another goal. We had the opportunity to go 2-0 up. Babos missed from such close range. He should have scored. That was at 1-0. That was before the penalty incident. And that, you feel, we could have made a few changes and really secured, held on to that, tried to see it through. Now, though, we're perhaps struggling. We're losing 3-1. But the good news is that Fylde and Dover are still not getting the results they need. Or Dover in particular, sorry, are not getting the results they need. It would be enough at the moment. I'm not even interested in our game anymore. It's a penalty. We're going to lose this 4-1. Fylde, they're scrapping to stay up too. And Brian, that's why he doesn't normally say penalties. Just pushes them straight into the back of the net, which is not ideal. Afalan can put it in for Babos, who gets one back straight away. If he'd have put that, that was a harder chance than the one he missed earlier. And if he'd put the one earlier away, it could have been so much different. I'm not even interested, really. It's nice for him, his 27th of the season. It's nice for us to get a goal, and it's nice for you to see another goal. But you just got to watch the Dover score. Hopefully that does not change, because at the moment we are secured Vanarama National League football next season. It's all over here. What's going on at Dover? You can't see from that screen. Are we going to have the news feed filling us? It looks like it's all over. The news says we avoid relegation. It's all over for this season. But it's not over for us. So we're going to be back now for the Eastleigh game, which you will see any second now. And so we're back. Here is the lineup we've got for Eastleigh at home for the final game of the season. O'Brien keeps his place. The only real change is Flanagan's moved over to the left. Kelly and Daly now are the centre partnerships. Carline comes in for Green on midfield, who drops to the bench. and we're ready for the final game of the season. It's 4-4-2 against 4-4-2. This is the last you're going to be seeing of us this season. The next time you see us, which hopefully will be tomorrow, it could be on, what day would it be? Thursday. You're going to hopefully see a whole new team, a new setup, possibly a new tactic. We might be looking to go into something like a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. I've been talking to a few friends who, once they've got a team in this league who can play a bit of football, they were expected to finish in the top half, they've gone aggressive and really tried to smash home the points, get the wins. You know, don't rely on being good defensively, rely on being good up front and in wide positions, etc. Run at defence, that sort of thing. I might start using that if I find the right players. It all depends on who we find, who we bring in on loan. You'll be able to see all that on our next episode, so make sure you subscribe. There you are. I'll get my little tidbit in nice and early. I'll reinstate it at the end, I'm sure. But this season has been really good fun. It's my first season recording ever on YouTube. It's a shame that's a goal. This is a game I'm not interested. We've stayed up. We're staying in the division. This is a game I can afford to lose. I'm not worried about losing. It's a game where we can lose at 8-0, like we did earlier in the season against Maidstone, and it wouldn't affect my mood. We've done it. We've stayed in the division. We were expected to finish last. We stayed in the division. We did much better than expected. It's time for me to now get down to the nitty-gritty, get to the hard work. We've had scouts all over the country all season. The fruits of their labour, hopefully, will be coming to you in the next episode, where we bring in a lot of new transfers, a lot of new loan signings, lots of players leaving. So we need to bring players in, otherwise we're not going to have a squad. So there's no doubt I can't exactly skip out and just go, oh, okay, well, I'll hang on to the players. And Babos equalises for us. See, I do care. I was lying. I do care. I really want to win this game. But I can't escape from the fact we need to bring in players. We really need to bring in players because we're losing about 15 of players. Nobody really from the first team, one or two who've been on the fringes. But once this episode finishes, we might have a quick rundown of who's been our best players, who's been our star players, who we have really enjoyed working with, and also give you an idea of the type of players that will be leaving. But we should, if you've been following through the season, you've seen all the games, then let me know where you think I need to invest, places I need to bring in. I mean, the positions I'm really looking into, Leigh will be going back, so we probably need a left back. Michael, who's just been injured, and he's coming off now. He's going to need to go. Defensive. He's not really go, but he would need to be a backup. We'd probably look to bring in, depending on the tactic we bring in. I'll probably look to see what's out there first, and then decide how I want to play, and then look to bring players in. We might play with wingers, in which case, new wingers will need to be found. I think Phillips can play on the wing wide, so he's able to cover on the left, and he's good at it. So we don't need to find anybody in that position. As I say, we might look to bring Babos in again, have him and Afalan up front. But we've also got Benshaw, who's been out on loan all season. He's going to be with us next season, I think. Afalan's been tied down for another 2 years on a contract, so he's going to be here. O'Brien is going to be here, although we're paying him now £700 a week because we played 20 games for us this season. But generally, he's been okay. He's, our coaches say he's one of the better goalkeepers in the division. So he's certainly somebody we can build a tag team around. Losing Sean St. Ledger was a big loss. We'll probably need to bring in a defender to replace him, because both our defenders now are sort of leading players for the division below. And if we want to kick on, we need them to be good players in this division. But we're getting to the end of this game. It's all over. The season has finished. We finish it with a draw against Eastleigh, and just to finish it all off, we can pretend that is our celebration on the screen. It's not. It's Eastleigh winning the title. They got what they needed to win the title. From our perspective, we get to see confetti on our pitch, a trophy being delivered on our pitch. Sadly, it's not for us, but in a couple of years, who knows? So that's it for the season. Let's have a quick sum up of the season, where we finished, who played well. There's the league table. We finished in 19th place, which, judging from the preview, we were supposed to finish 24th. In the end, we finished 5 points outside the relegation zone. It was an easy season. In the end, we got well over the 1 point per game ratio that you need to get past to stay up. And when you actually look at it, it's only 14 points to the playoff, and we beat Wrexham twice in the season. So if we can, a small group of players can easily overturn 14 points in the course of a season. I mean, there's a huge jump then to 6th, which is a whole different kettle of fish. But if we finished on 70 points next season, I would be delighted. I think next season at the moment I'd take 60 points if you offered it me straight away, because I don't know how much money I've got to work with. We can see that Eastleigh have won the division. Have a quick look at our squad. Average rating and performance-wise, the top player was Afalan, who scored 30 goals and 16 assists in 50 appearances. He was our star player. Other star players are Carline, Michael, who, believe it or not, who came in halfway through the season, Babos, Carvel and Phillips. Goals-wise, it was Afalan and Babos all the way, with 58 goals between them. That's an excellent strike partnership. I'm really happy with that. As I say, if I can get Babos back on loan, if he wants to come back on loan, he's only 20 years old. He's on loan from Derby. Our scouts say he's good enough for League 2 football. So if we can bring him in, he's somebody I'd want to bring in. In terms of assists, our top assist maker, it was Afalan and Babos. Other than that, Phillips and Michael. So again, the way we wanted to play with the 2 up front and the 2 wides, getting balls in, it seemed to work. Other than that, balls from deep, Carvel got 3 assists. All in all, the tactic we used worked in what we wanted it to do. The players did what we wanted to do, but it was a counter-attacking, let's just hang on and get results when we can. Let's try and stay in the division. We're going to look to bring lots of players in. If we have a quick look at contracts and expiry dates, well, for one, all of these players are on part-time contracts. That's something I'm going to have to address. They're on non-contracts, sorry. All of these players then from, Kellier down to Martin, all of those are coming to the end of their contracts. Very few of them want to re-sign for me. I'd probably look to keep Carline maybe, although our coaches say, he's really suited for the division below. It could be a clear out. It could be a clear out and a whole new squad revamp. Use the money we've got. We finished season finances £125,000 in debt. We've been committed spending, so we're going to have about £2,000 to play with. Next season's wage budget has already been agreed on £7,500. We're going to have about £2,000 a week to play with, which I'd say is about 10 players. Once you include loan signings and such, we might be able to get a few players off our books as well. It's been a great season. Thank you ever so much for joining me for what has been a wonderful first season. We'll be back for season 2 of our career mode, where we try and go from obscurity to Champions League glory. It looks like at the moment like we're going to be with Solihull Moors again, trying to kick on in the Vanarama National League. If you've liked this episode, if you've liked the final game of the 2 games of the season, press the like button for what has been the first ever season of my YouTube Football Manager career. Press the subscribe button if you want to see what happens in the future, and thank you very much for watching.